Hi, this is Mia. This is part 2. I'm in a better mood than I was yesterday. I don't have a lot of time. I started working at the post office, and I think it's really hard. And let me post yesterday's video. See, I had another. I thought I had another YouTube video. I think it's really hard because I'm getting, if I got $160 a day for it, for like 8 or 9 or 10 hours, something like that, the estimate plus or minus whatever. As a doctor, I'm getting $160 for an hour. Like I should be. I get some steep discounts. It was $155 per hour. I was at their house for house call for 2 hours. I drove an hour and a half to get to their house, I think. So I drove 3 hours. Let me do the math. I drove 3 hours. I was at the house for 2 hours, and I took at least an hour, or at least an hour, if not 2 hours, to finish the charting, to do the emails, to collect payment. I'm going to say 2 hours because I had to do a lot of stuff. So this person should have paid. I gave him like an $80 discount. It should be a $230, about $230, and I left a place for a tip, and I removed the driving fee, which was stupid. 5, 6, 7 hours. So it was a 1 hour visit turned into 7 hours of work. Now, the driving should have been paid for. I should have charged for that. The billing issue and the charting, that's part of it. You see the patient for an hour, you do the admin for an hour. That's part of it. So if it was, let's say it was $200, the normal price of that would be $100 an hour. So if I got 155, if I got 155, let me go to my calculator. If I have 155 divided by 7, that's $22 an hour. So that last appointment as a doctor with the driving, I should have charged, even if I charged $30 for the driving. If it took me $30 of gas to get there and back, not counting the time, but just even the gas, like I had to pay $30-something in gas to get to their house. They don't think about that. And I was driving an SUV, so it could have been more than, I'm just going to say like a whole tank of gas to get there and back. Not even the 5 hours or the 3 hours of driving, which minimum wage, what, $12, $13 an hour. So that I should have charged $55. I'm going to say driving, $55, period. So I had to drive 45 minutes, anything over, say 20 minutes. I want to say anything over 10 or 15 minutes. Because sometimes sometimes you got to go 40 miles and it's an hour and a half drive. So I've noticed that. And that's not traffic. That's not city gridlock traffic. That's like because you got to go through these neighborhoods and there's back roads and it's 20 miles an hour. You know what I mean? It's like literally not. When you can drive on freeways like on I-5 in Oregon. If it's not traffic, I typically put it at, when you drive the 55 miles an hour, 60. That's about 60 miles an hour. 1 mile every minute, right? So you got to go 60 miles. It takes you 60 minutes if you're driving less than speed limit, and then obviously it's going to take you an hour and 15 minutes or whatever. And then 2 hours a visit, that should have been 1. Plus 1 hour should be, I think, $200. If you go over for billing, I forget what it is for Medicaid, what I charge. But this person had the discounts, and I had the time of service cash discount and the different things, and then the 2 hours of charts and billing, including the issue I had that took me like a month to get paid. So that's $2 sorry. So that's part of the visit price. So when you try to discount, I'll just charge you $99 for the visit, you're also The 2 hours you could finish the chart maybe in 15 minutes. Maybe. You could just be like, I'm going to be efficient and simple. I typed some during the visit. I didn't just write down the vitals on a sticky note. I had to transfer everything over, which is often what I do. To maintain eye contact, it's easier for me to write than to type, which I try. My iPad mini is not that difficult, but it's difficult because you're on a computer program. It's not like you're doing chart notes like we learned in med school at first before they got us on the Epic electronic health records. So I don't have Epic, that's expensive, but they got us doing our chart notes on a piece of paper, just basically a blank piece of paper, and you set it up, which I really like. Date, page 1, chief complaint, or patient's name, last name, first name, birth date, and then date of service, name in the clinic on the bottom. You can go through chief complaint, history of present illness, past medical history, social medical history, HPI, review of systems, not HPI, is history of present illness. One of my doctor teachers that I didn't like, she had a good point. Now, I'm going to switch this to a trigger warning here in a moment, so I need to put that in the title, or, yeah. One of the doctor teacher residents that I did not like, she had a way to write, I don't know if she had it as a chief complaint. So say your patient has a runny nose and itchy eyes, acute, for 5 days duration. And they call and make a complaint for that. You can do that as your chief complaint, or when you type in for my EHR, electronic health records, you type in the reason for the appointment and it'll put that in your chart. And then sometimes I do add it to the subjective, the like bulky, meaty part of the chart. I forget how this person did it. Like maybe type it out more like an assessment. Like assessment is like if I were to give the chart notes to a different provider and they can say 42-year-old female presents to clinic with rhinitis, allergic or non-allergic, or pending results of blood testing, want to check the eosinophils to see if there's an allergy, or like you can say pending or definitive diagnosis. But so she kind of had like an assessment, like 42-year-old female presents to clinic with itchy eyes and runny nose, has no food allergies, has previously been seen for skin rash, has like, I don't know. She had, I can't even remember now that I was excited about it, but she had written out the chief complaint on either probably a different spot where it was showing. I have a class, I think in 10 minutes. Anyways, different story. I'm getting paid that much for my time as I am at the post office. If I work at night and get overtime, which I think I'm gonna add yesterday's video as a part 1. I need to snooze my computer because I have a class. I think I need to, oh, that's giving me my, attestation successful, so I gotta go in and get my, Oregon medical license. I gotta go and get my license so I can upload it and send it to everyone. I gotta figure out who I gotta send this thing to. It's one problem I have. I put it on the CAQH. I think that's the only place. I'm pretty sure that's not the only place. That is one big one for the insurance. There's a lot of insurance companies, private and public health insurance. So I gotta make some phone calls. If this class is an hour, my boyfriend's gonna be at work not that long. I have some presents to wrap. I'll just do that. I had bought myself a water pick that I didn't use, so I got 2 days. Do I wrap this water pick, or do I start using it today? Part of me is like, you better start using it today because you're not known to use it every day. I think I'm gonna wrap it. Actually, floss my teeth, brush and floss, and then see if I can tidy up my stuff in the bathroom. Because there's no counter, so I have that heck are you going to use a water pick if you don't have a counter space? Like, you got to be over the sinks. I don't know. It's almost like I need a rolling. I was thinking medical carts where they have the bed, hospital bed tray that rolls around. Those are actually expensive. I almost just thinking about getting a cart like that. I had one like a computer laptop stand that tilts, but one that like closes up, but it doesn't take up a lot of floor space or something. Like where you can use it as a kitchen surface with a pull out, or you can put it in the bathroom and use it. And I have a plug in there that I had to make. I was trying to make a smoothie in the bathroom. I had to balance it on the side of the sink, and that's also a shock hazard because you got an appliance plugged in, falling into a thing of water next to a toilet. Not even saying that I'm gonna put water to sink and balance something plugged in over the sink and stick my hand in the water, but at the same time it's wet. It's not dry. There's like corn meal in my hair, right from this bread in here that has cornmeal on it. I'm gonna find today, or no, yesterday, guys. I'm gonna change this. This is dramatically changing to be part 2 of yesterday. Um, So yesterday I mentioned that their family house has completely burned down to the freaking ground, and I am not okay. I am not okay. I will be emotional. What if I had stuff stored in the house? Can I get on insurance? Okay. So I'm posting yesterday's video. I swear it's only like 5 minutes. I paused the movie to go call my cousin, and his phone went beep beep beep. Like it wasn't a busy signal, but it was a busy signal, but it was fast. I called my other cousin. The voicemail said something weird. It wasn't like the subscriber you're calling, or please leave a message. Like, I said, hi, this is cousin. If this is such and such, can you please give me a call back? My other cousin, she didn't like to talk to me. And I usually have like bad news for her, so I don't want to call and be like, oh, I know you don't like to talk to me, and I call with drama about my boyfriend, and now I'm going to call and say that the house burned down to the ground. But at the same time, I just wanted to let these people know. This movie, is it already? Probably, it's only 4 minutes. So I was thinking about my dad's birthday last week, and as you know from my other videos, and I know I don't post them all, which I mean to post all or most of them. I need the ones that I have like bloopers, like I accidentally have, like I think I should actually have the TV or something. I don't want to copyright, or I show paper with mine or someone else's address. Then I'm like, oh shoot, I don't want to post that one. I got so few views. Sometimes I just like let it go. I mean, if it's a copyright, the machine will scope that out immediately as it's processing. It'll give me a violation. So I did that with my turntables. So basically, it was my dad's birthday last week, and I thought about it, and I couldn't remember. Apparently, his birthday was a year earlier than I thought, because I was like around World War One, during sorry, dude, not that old. World War Two. I was thinking his dad was in World War II. So his parents were probably born during World War One. Anyway, different story. Um, I had I had been thinking of his birthday, and it was like, oh, this is something, and I had thought about getting a call from work. I had worked after being asleep for like 3 hours after the post office job, the plant job. I had to go to a different job in a different county, so I had to drive a half hour to get the truck and another half hour to um, do the work to get to the gate to unlock it. So it's 30 minutes. If the traffic's good, each way is 30 minutes to get to the truck and 30 minutes to get to the gate, the first gate. There's more than one. Well, you pass the one gate to get to. Anyways, different story. So I was really tired, and I had come back from that other job, and I had dropped off some food for a person that's in one of my 12-step groups whose son had died because of drugs. Younger, I don't know if the son, I'm in my 40s, so it was he probably was younger than me. I always assume the people are younger than me, in their 30s or 20s. It doesn't matter. Someone had to bury their son, and so there was a period last weekend, like the weekend before last and last weekend. So I dropped off. I had to get some food. I don't have a kitchen, so I couldn't rinse it, and I wanted to rinse it and store it in the fridge and put it in a basket and make it all pretty and put some cellophane around it and put a bow on it and take it. It's ready to eat, but I had a couple of days. I said I'm gonna get this food, and they didn't want anyone coming over before and after the funeral, the day before and after during the funeral. So I was gonna get it one day, and when I didn't have the one job, I'm gonna keep it in the car. But the temperature went up, and plus the sunlight, so I waited until the day before, went to the store in the morning because the temperature was in the 30s, the 32, 30, 32. So I was scared it was going to freeze. I said, well, I'm going to put this food in the car because I don't have a refrigerator, and I'm going to get myself the same food. Mine's actually at my boyfriend lives in the garage, so there's actually steps that are really cold. It's unheated, and it's kind of it could be a worse nightmare. Let's put it that way. Anyways, I ended up keeping it in the car because I didn't have a refrigerator, and then taking it after work. And then after work, I had to go in and figure out they keep having the pay stub. I've only worked there like, 6 to 8 weeks. They keep having the pay stubs due early because of holidays, so they're usually due on Tuesdays. So normally I was working to certain days and on the weekend and off hours. So you're like, oh, if you work Sunday and it's due on Tuesday, but you're not going to be back till Friday, then you still have to turn it in early. So I always had to turn it in early, but on the holidays, they're like, it's due on Tuesday usually. You usually turn it in on Sunday or whatever, but that week I had to on Friday, like, oh, we're going to do your paycheck together because we didn't actually have a schedule. I actually did not have a schedule, so you had to estimate your hours. Anyways, different story. So that took longer, and then it took longer to find this person's house in the country. Luckily, the person who organized it said that it's on the way home from your county job. So you just go through the country, and on the way home, I said, "Oh, thank God!" So I was trying to organize all that, and on the way home from that, I was a couple miles, a mile and a half away, and there post office calls that you've been exposed, but that we suggest you get a test, but you don't have to, and you can come to work. I'm like, wait a second, aren't I supposed to be in quarantine? Like, no, you should come to work. And I was just like, dude, they're like, call your health department. Like, do you have symptoms? Were you wearing a mask? You should be okay then. Blah blah blah. I was like, well, I was around a lot of dust, and I was coughing, and I was sneezing, and I'm like freaking out. Anyways, that was like Friday, so my dad's birthday. I was dealing with not being able to get a hold of my boyfriend because he couldn't find his phone. And then I called the clinic, 2 clinics. One of them, the health department never even called me back. So I called 3 clinics all together. I called work, talked to work another time, and then I ended up having it where I decide to go to an urgent care or like a come in without appointment place on Friday evening. I didn't want to deal with the Friday before Christmas in this town where there's a lot of wealthy and politicians. There's people shopping and out and driving. A lot of people that moved here recently from the city, and it's just chaos. I mean, like Portland, I remember driving. It took me like 45 minutes or an hour to drive to the discount store, and I realized later on that it's only like 2 miles away. And I realized like every time I drive down towards there, because a meeting was down there, that it should be like 6 minutes. It would take me like 20 minutes to an hour. Like anyway, that Christmas, like Thanksgiving, Christmas traffic was just gridlock with a bunch of streetlights. So I wasn't looking forward to going out. For some reason, I have a fear of driving. I have a fear of car accidents. I have a fear of pulling out and not being able to get into first gear fast enough, or his car. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but if you're pushing the clutch in a certain way, anyways, different story. Okay, so I was scared to go out, and I was thinking about that, and so Monday I was trying to figure out if I'm supposed to go to work this Saturday or next Saturday, because I was thinking 2 weeks from my exposure. And I said, just you'll have your results by Wednesday. Don't worry about it. And I ended up getting a text from my brother's girlfriend saying, just thought I'd let you know. You don't talk to your dad. The house burned down. That's a total loss. I said, brother's got some pictures on Facebook. So there was Facebook pictures of the whole roof had collapsed and was burnt up. You could see the belongings covered with snow and roof and insulation and the ceiling on everything, and you could see the wall where my bedroom was, or my mom's room was. They didn't show pictures of my room. I mean, there was pictures that I was looking at my phone, and there was pictures that were of where my mom's bedroom and our bathroom were, and the wall it was a brick house. It was completely gone. There was no wall over there. So you could see some of the stuff in the house, pictures on the wall still, wallpaper on the wall. Some of the couch, the computers looked kind of melted or something. The computer screen, something my dad had set up. So nobody had, as far as I know, been in the basement. So I don't know what's going on. And so I burst into tears. I said, "Oh my God," because my boyfriend says that sometimes I was like, "You got me saying stuff you say," and I burst into tears. Like, should I call him? What should I do? Oh my God, my boyfriend was at work, so I called my daughter. I said, "I'm sorry, it's bad news. I'm crying." She's like, "Oh my God, I thought you were crying because you were dying of COVID," and I was like, "Do you want to call my dad?" I mean, I was like, his house phone's probably burnt. His cell phone is burnt. He can't be in the house. It's not like part of the house burned down, wall that off, and air it out and live in the other part. There's one part in the picture. The pictures are gone. So I looked at them at night. I was horrified. The pictures of the ash, of all of the stuff that we had lived in since 1978 is gone. Whether it's burnt, melted, or water damaged. My brother's girlfriend said that everything, between the snow, you could see like snow, like where the roof collapsed in some area, you could see snow because it's northern Michigan. So she said we had a lot of rain and snow since last week, so everything is a total loss. She's like, I don't know if you could salvage anything. I was going through my mind, not on purpose. Oh, my mom had snuff bottles. Oh, what about the piano? What about the Buddha? And what about great grandmother's vase? Like, what about the pictures I left? What about the stuff, my wedding photo of me and my ex-husband that I was keeping there for safekeeping? What about my kids' pictures that were on the refrigerator in the living room on the piano that we sent off every year, pictures of the kids? And that I had left that house, like long term, I left that house twice because of abuse. like flood it. Like I gotta get out as soon as I can. I left it short term for abuse, and I left my ex-husband and had stuff gone and thrown away and left behind because of rational decision and because of abuse. And I've had stuff thrown away and stolen and lost. So at that house, it's a hoarder, but it's not like I can't walk through the house. There's a path. It's not completely stuck up, but the basement was pretty bad with like I'm surprised the basement. Like the basement probably has if the fire department had to come 3 times because the fire started back up, then the basement was probably all water damage because they had the vents have holes. You know, it's probably all water damage. Whatever was down there. A lot of my mom's stuff was down there. My mom had a lot of antiques and furniture and collections of stuff that I don't think anybody else knows about. Um, and all I could think about was I have crap at my boyfriend's house. We have crap in his storage unit. I have crap in Portland that I was supposed to clean out, but I got stuck away from it because of COVID, and I was like, what the F am I gonna go to Portland or have my kids in big containers and just go stick it in the storage unit when we're paying $220? I mean, it was like 180. They upped the price, so we're like paying a buttload of money to store an old truck, and we probably gonna pay off that truck, repay like we could have bought a replacement truck. So it's like thinking of people talk about pictures. My boyfriend said that their house burnt down, and then afterwards, his mom was all adamant about keeping these pictures. She's like, pictures can't be replaced. That's the only thing that can't really be replaced. And he's like, yeah, me and my sister have our pictures in a drawer somewhere, and they're not up and displayed and cherished like mom would think that they would be. Both of our moms died, so his mom like because we're too busy trying to live our life. We're too busy scrambling to get keep it together and stay healthy and be around our children. You know what I mean? So it's really hard. It was hard for me. I'm that person that they say, oh, if you get rid of something or throw something out because you don't use it, you'll never remember that you had it. I'm that person that remembers. Remember that purple shirt? Remember that hot pink shirt with the plastic jewels? Remember those pair of shoes? Whatever happened to those slippers that reminded me of my uncle? Like I can remember. What about that blue bowl? What about that other blue bowl? You know what I mean? Like, oh shoot, remember those encyclopedias I threw out and the ones I didn't throw out? Like, what about my Game Boy? What about that one game? What about who stole my Link game? That gold colored Link game from my Nintendo NES. Like, this is decades of memories that goes through my mind when I think of stuff. And you wonder how I struggle with not being able to get a job that's in my field or get a proper paycheck because I'm so busy. Like, it's like I keep hoarding around me in order to distract me from the memories of the hoarding stuff and being terrified of having a clean house where I can literally, like my neighbor in Portland, they have clean houses. They got a TV, their kids got a video game, they got a couple computers and or tablets and or cell phones, and that's what they do. They socialize, they talk, they watch their TV programs, they eat. The kitchen is clean, the bathroom is clean, the toys, if they even have any, are put away, they're gotten rid of. They don't, some of my Muslim neighbors, there's a story about a quilt that's passed down through generations, and the daughters were fighting over the quilt and trying to get with the mom in the kitchen privately to see someone was supposed to get the quilt, but that person doesn't deserve it now. Who's going to get the quilt? You know. And this kid I was helping with his homework, who's from a Muslim family, who's American, but he's in a Muslim community. He didn't understand. He didn't understand the story. He could not answer the questions. It did not relate to him. As an American, I could see even if our family members didn't pass crap down, houses, quilts, baby clothes from this person to this person. Oh, this is, my mom's necklace passed down. If I didn't have stuff passed down because my family has been here for several hundred years. I have parents who went to USA schools and were teachers, and we watch documentaries and you read classics, you read classic stories, or you read Pride and Prejudice, like you know what I mean, where there's this European, Eurocentric slash American Christian thing normalized, gender roles, and grandma's making Afghans, passing that on, you know, and so I have that culture that is even through, if it's only through education. So I had to tell this kid, oh, these people are fighting over this heirloom, and they both want it, and there's only one, and the dynamics have changed, and someone's trying to swindle the mother out of it, and there's a big, the whole story was a bit, you take 10 minutes to read this short story, and the mother overheard it and said, in our religion, that's haram, which is, in Muslim, it's halal, which is kind of like kosher, it's clean, the meat's killed clean, the beef, no pork, and in Muslim, it's like similar, no interest loan or no interest, uh, so that kosher alcohol is okay, I think, and as far as I know, in a lot of kosher things, but alcohol is not okay. Anyways, so that them passing down a blanket in from their grandmother to the baby, to the children, is dirty. It's not kosher. It's not. It's halal. It's haram. It's not good. And I have like a huge blister. I thought that's gross. And so um, it just not only did it not make sense, it was against their religion. Like, no, when we have a baby, or we have our when we have a baby, or we have I think I have a class. I forgot about it. Oh my god. When we have a baby, or we have some stuff, as soon as we're done with it, we pass it on to somebody in the community, or you give it to the thrift store. That you don't hold on to. You don't say, oh, I'm going to save this. Your grandmother made this baby blanket. We're going to save it for when my kids grow up and get married and have a baby. It's just like, no, 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 no. I don't know when I actually have my next Echo class. I thought it was this week. 12/16. What is this? It was 12/16. Diabetes one. So the house burned down. I saw pictures. It's ruined. It's destroyed. It's got to be demolished. You could see the wallpaper. We had velvet wallpaper. I had purple carpet. We used to have shag, black and white, literal shag carpet. We had blue carpet in the living room. My dad put in pergo floor, so that he cut that. We weren't allowed in the living room, so that rug from the 70s, that carpet, he turned into a rug to protect the pergo floors in the living room when we came to live with them when my son was born. And then in the basement, we still had green. It wasn't padded, or the pad fell out or wore down. It was green and like dark green shag. So like this long shag carpet. There was a lot of mice down there. I don't know how the fire started. I could speculate. Usually, a lot of times, if it's not like somebody left the pot on, or a lamp got too hot, it's usually electrical or heater. Something got hot, or critters like could have chewed on electrical wires, or some embers. If it was that much snow, I don't know if embers from a neighbor's fireplace could have landed on the house. You never know, though. I was concerned about that because the neighbors next door, who had a cabin, had built a house really close to his house, really close to the fence, whereas I had a view of the lake, and when they built their house, I no longer had a view of the lake, which sucked because I was in a bedroom on the opposite side of the house from the lake, and I opened my curtains, and I would see the lake year round, um, with different trees and stuff. And of course, on this part of the lake, you own that property, you could see in the back of the house, the front of the house. So that sucked. But I can't believe that house that I went to in the past 10 years, that I could go to the house and sit down on the couch and have the kids watch TV and go through my old toys, and it's not there. Last night I started crying. I was trying to not be dramatic, to think about going to the house and seeing ashes, and that hoarding thing I had to add because that can make, like, if you have like a suitcase, some dog food, and like a necklace and a pair of earrings, and your house burns down, that's still devastating. And you're going to be upset because you lost your suitcase, a couple of clothes if you're a minimalist, and a one set of jewelry. You're going to be mad. But then you have a lot of stuff. Oh no, what about this? What about those antiques? What about this? What about, is there baseball cards? Is it, oh no, And it's like, that can happen to me. That can happen to kids. But you feel like you had clutter. You feel like, could that have contributed to the place going up in smoke faster? And like I said, from the pictures, I can't tell you one way or another, because some of the rooms looks like they completely burnt to the ground. Is it fire? There was mice. It could have been something through a lamp cord or something. You don't know. It's like, if I have a super clean house and that cord catches on fire, will it burn itself out? But if I have a messy house and I have a piece of paper or a phone book next to it, or even my food, or even plastic, will it melt and burn and cause a destruction? And you don't want to test that theory. So with the feng shui and all that stuff, I feel super guilty for being like a hoarder, and I feel like having my stuff in that house for safekeeping was stupid. And I'm never gonna, I was like, oh, well, to all my relatives, if you happen to go up there, there's some of my stuff salvageable, put it in a box. And I feel like they're gonna just hire someone and say, just take it all away. Just take it all away. I'm trying to see if I have a class. I need to, like, pause the movie. So, let me pause the movie, actually, like I said I was gonna do. Hold on. So what happened, I tried to get in the meeting. It's not. I missed it last week, so I think it's every other week. I'm totally missed last week. I had it in my schedule. I was supposed to do counseling from 9 to 10. Take a 30-minute break. Get on. Got to distracted, I guess, and didn't realize it until I got the evaluation saying, please, crap, I didn't attend the meeting. Part of me wants to be like 0 minutes, like 1 minute. I'm not gonna lie. They keep track of. First of all, they're supposed to keep track of your attendance, like, by your name. Second of all, I wasn't there. If I had gone for a minute, then you could make a minimum of 15 minutes. So I'm sitting here with walls and a roof and a floor, and I have my kids with walls and a roof and a floor. And anytime something could spark, and I feel like a lot of things are preventable. Like, our heaters in the house in Portland are not maintained. Our water heater's never been drained. I watched Sophia, my great challenge, empty out the sediment and stuff in the gas water heater. She said that they can explode and go up. My daughter's bedroom's right there. She could die because of the water heater. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what to do about it, and it's something that I should address. But then you don't want to be hasty in a cheap place and have them bring the cheapest, unexperienced person over and cause a problem that, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. Like, I watched Sophia do it herself and drain all the water out and clean it up, and she had to just disconnect the gas and reconnect you know what I mean? And I can see somebody carefully doing something, taking their time, and then you can see, like, a professional come over, and they may or may not know what they're doing, or they may be sloppy. What is it to them if it explodes or catches on fire or there's a gas leak? Is their children, and spouse in the house? You know what I mean? There's a different, like, oh crap, is something already happened? Oh yeah, I don't know, must have been faulty. Too bad, the insurance take care. You know what I mean? There's a different feeling when you want something done. You're like, I don't necessarily just want to pay the most money and hope that that person's the best, but I want to find someone who's the best, somebody that everyone's seeking. And even the best, you could still forget to do something or make a mistake or have a model that is semi-defective that doesn't go back together the right way. But there's so many things I feel like there was I like those villa type houses, the Spanish. There's a house in Portland, Southwest Vermont. Um, it was a stucco house, and I call that my villa, and it burned up. It didn't burn down. It was full of boxes, and I think there was some issue with putting the fire out because of the storage in it, the stuff in it. This house wasn't being lived in. I kept looking at the house, and I think I noticed that it didn't look like anybody was there, or it didn't look like it had cars or any windows, blinds. Oh, nothing changed, you know. They had an RV parked in the back. I think it was actually the RV that caught on fire. They had an RV, and I think that why do I feel like that they had electrical cord going from the house to the RV? And there's like an electrical fire in the RV that spread to the house, and the fire was hard to put out because of the boxes in the house. So I thought about that. I don't even know if it was an extension cord or if it was just a plain old electrical, like something started in the house. You know, vice versa. Was it from the RV to the house, or was it I feel like it was directly from the house. So I got scared. I said, "Oh, I wanted to buy that house. I wanted to put a note on the door. I've done this before. I want to buy your house. Please contact me." And there was like a duplex house that you could own the house, and it was a duplex. I put a note in the door like that. So I was like, I don't want the house because it sounds like the electricity has not been installed properly. And the cheap low income houses I lived in have had some serious electricity. My boyfriend's apartment, we had electrical fire in the wall. Luckily, it burned itself out, probably because of the coating on the wire. And I saw it spark, and it thankfully tripped the circuit breaker to stop that electricity. But it was definitely, I don't even know what we did with the old plug. It burnt, it was black, it melted off the insulation, off the wiring, and it burned and melted the plug. The part on the outside had shard marks on it, and it was melted down. And I was sitting here, my friends, and I don't know if they're still in Salinas. My friends in Salinas, California, I had been on Facebook, and I hadn't been on Facebook a lot because I didn't like how everyone ignores you when you're struggling and all this stuff. And I had been feeling guilty about waking up and getting on Facebook. So when I was going to church, I felt like everything has to be about human Christianity. It has to be about, if you can't sleep or you want the radio on, it's got to be Christian music. If you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is pray. If you don't pray first, then the first thing you look at is the Bible. You don't turn on the TV, you don't look at your email, you don't look at your text. And I had this like guilty feeling when I decided to just be in the middle of the road and pray to God like without ceasing, whether or not I wake up and look at Facebook or my email or my notes for school, or whether I have my techno music on, and even if they're talking about sex and drugs. Like, I had this shift to just be like, I'm just who I am, and I'm still going to have some moral values and some conscience and some love, to share with the world, which is surprising because love is a tough one for me. So I already felt a little bit guilty that I was awake and that I should have been asleep at 6 in the morning because I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. My boyfriend was playing video games, and then I was waking up with the light, which my therapist was like, you need to get one of those lights where you can put it on when it gets light. I'm like, we have a window with a blind that doesn't work very well. It's like I wake up with the light. It's a problem if I go to bed at 3 and it starts getting light at 6. It's like he's trying to do that last year, the SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Like, what I probably need if I'm going to be kept up till 3, 4 in the morning because the video game's on the TV. I need a room darkening. I need to actually keep it dark, and then when I get adequate sleep, because I feel like sleeping at least 6 hours, preferably 8 hours, is better than. I feel like sleeping is better than being woke up with the sun and having that sad light gradually at 6 a.m. go from dim to light. Like, I don't know. In my mind, I felt sleep was more important than being woke up with 2-3 hours of sleep with a freaking artificial light. Like, at least the sunlight is, on cloudy days, I tend to sleep in. Anyways, different story. So I was up, I was feeling a little bit guilty. I was looking at my friends as, and there's one of them, there are a couple. One of them said, this is the anniversary so many years ago. We had to leave our apartment because the apartment caught on fire. And they had some pictures because their neighbor's place caught on fire and it spread. And a few minutes later, I heard this pop, pop, pop. And I look and I see sparks flying out of the wall. And I woke up my boyfriend. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And he went and got up and looked at it and whatever. And we went to Lowe's. He fixed it. And I was like, we're kind of like, the landlord is not nice. Like, even if he says words that sound polite, I don't know what it is. He's got this vibe that's not very nice, and it's I don't know. It's not. I don't like it. So we were scared. We didn't even want to tell them. And it's nothing we did. We did have a extension cord going from there. That's the problem with this small place and having all these appliances. Now we have like a Dollar Tree freaking multi-outlet there. This is creeping me out. There's an extension cord that goes from here to a power strip, I think, that plugs in my appliances, my devices. It's not good, but when that happens, because we also have a electric blanket, which I accidentally spilled coconut oil on, so I don't want to use it because it's gonna make it. Everything else, your clothes, your bedding, everything else is gonna get grease on it. So I gotta get it out of the trunk. And we're not going to the laundromat lately. So it should go to the laundromat, but it's gotta be. I don't know if you can. It says you can machine wash it, but I think you're supposed to hang dry it. I should have washed it in the summer. The thing is, with that whole landlord where my boyfriend is, I don't like going outside. Last year at this time, maybe January, we were out doing yard work. So basically, the house that I grew up in, there's about 12 pictures or 10 pictures on Facebook. I tried to share it with my friend. I shared a Facebook message, and my brother took the pictures off of Facebook, so they're no longer there. And so I don't know what to do. And the link that I sent my friend, I screenshotted it, so I have one picture that has we have a bright green couch that we've had for, I think they got it maybe before I was born. They got it sometime 40 plus years ago. And it was thick green leather couch. And it has maintained its color, its shape. It's just, I don't remember anyone. I think we used to dust it, like with the old t-shirt. Like, I don't remember anyone putting anything on it. We had really good curtains in the house, where you had the string, you had the sheer curtains, and then you had like that double curtain rod, and then you had the thick, almost like they are room darkening, but from the stuff, this stuff is all originally when we moved into the house, was already in the house. So this thick, not just like my room darkening, I can still see the sun, but really thick, like linen curtains with a white backing behind it, the storm windows, and then the sheer curtains, and the floor to ceiling windows we had in the living room and the dining room, the formal dining room. So all that is the picture that I saw the front of the house. You could still see the front doors. You could still see the room. Because what happens in a fire, even though you see stuff on the wall, you still see the wallpaper. Something fell out of my brother's room. I don't know if it was the ceiling that had collapsed or the closet door. I don't think it was a closet door. He had a different closet than I did. I might have had a bigger closet. I don't know. I might have had a tiny bit. I had a different room than he did. They put a closet closed door instead of a sliding door on his. His windows was blown out, and I think the windows at the front of our house were not blown out. We had a big copper thing above our window that was green. I've seen them shiny. Like, I'm on the East Coast currently, and I could see I don't know if I see it on the East Coast, but you feel like you see old stuff like that, like expensive trim that people use real wood, real copper, real linen, real, you know. So it's hard to believe that the last time I was at the house, the last time I took pictures, see my brother's girlfriend and their kids, seeing pictures of them with my dad inside the house, and to know that a week ago, in a day, that all went up in smoke. And our house burned down. My mother had died, or I don't know if she was pronounced dead on the scene there or at the hospital. I don't know if where she was pronounced dead, but she pretty much died and was in hospice in that house. My son was born in that house. I moved in that house when I was 1, almost 2 years old. I had friends in that house. We had a scavenger hunt because it was full of crap. We went to my house after we couldn't find these items, and we just went through the basement and found all the stuff for the scavenger hunt. I'm pretty sure we won that one. The only problem was, like, we would have taken a long time. I said, I know, we can find the rest of this crap in my basement. My dad did picture frame. He retired from the military in that house. It's on a lake. We had boats. He had luxury cars in that house, multiple German luxury cars. 2 of which got destroyed. So these are items I'm crying about. My dad's still alive. What if I had got a call your dad had died and you didn't get to talk to him again? What am I to do? So yesterday I was in a meeting. They were talking about Concept 12 and Al-Anon, and I wasn't listening because I was finishing. I told my boyfriend to turn the TV on, and so one ear had the earbud in, and the other ear was the TV, so I couldn't hear this lady reading. And I was thinking about I gotta share about this fire, and nobody said anything. And one lady said, "Yeah, like Mia having these like explosions going off while you're walking down the street." I was like, "What's she talking about?" But I was like, I didn't know how to think because I had a qualifier, certain behaviors and alcoholism in the family. The reasons I keep going to Al-Anon, the abuse that took place and the poor behaviors, the double standard, treating my brother a certain way than me, cheating me and DJ because we weren't as skinny as Ella a certain way. There's like a lot of stuff. Um, there's a lot of stuff, but the family house burned down to the ground. The last time I was in the house, I was sitting in my brother's room and I had my yearbooks stacked up there. And I said, I gotta take these yearbooks with me. But I was on an airplane and we only had carry-on. I mean, if I go back in time, maybe I probably would have paid the $100 for a check-in bag and then checked my clothes and then carried on the suitcase with the memories. I had my mom's cousin Terry. Her mom had lived in Michigan. So most of my mom's family lived in Ohio, except for cousin Roger. Left his family and moved out of state. But almost 100% of people were still there. And my mom and Terry's mom were writing letters, and I was reading the letters from Terry's mom to my mom. And they were, you know how you have an old dresser, like this kind of like poetic or like dramatic, and you have like stacks of letters and they're kind of like tied with a bow on them or whatever, rubber band or whatever. So you got stacks of letters. So I almost took those letters. I said, nah, I'm not going to take these letters. I have my own hoarding in my own house with my kids. I have stuff that we did bring back. We had a couple of pieces of jewelry. We had some items that had gotten taken to us when I was with my ex-husband. Half that stuff was including my Ethan Allen furniture set, which almost started a fire, but the carpet was fireproof. With my kids, my daughter said something. Oh shoot! I gotta put a band-aid on my foot now because I just like peeled too much skin off. So I had an Ethan Allen set, and I had a old. I don't know if it was still Ethan Allen, but it's a lamp with like a giraffe, like a toddler lamp, a baby lamp, and it had like a. You know how it's like you have a lamp, it goes straight up. It was one that was sideways and it had a lampshade. It had fallen down in my kid's room. And the lampshade was off of it, and it burnt, it melted the carpet all the way down to the fibers, or I don't think it did to the floorboard, but that lamp was in that house at one time. No, this is longer than I thought, and I know I talked about business at first. The house that I grew up in, I moved in 1978. My dad moved to Oscoda, Michigan, Wordsmith Air Force Base, which is now closed. When I graduated from high school, Wordsmith closed. Right before high school, because a lot of times the kids in the military moved in elementary school and junior high. There wasn't many high schoolers that had parents in the military. And my dad was a lot older than me, so he had already retired. So it's a lot, when you're in elementary school, almost all, like half your class is like military kids, for some reason. It just goes down, and it's weird. We had like 3-4 elementary schools, and then you have one middle school, one high school. I know a few things happened. People died. The kids died once a year, usually in high school. It was sad stuff. Bike accident or car accidents. It's sad. So I think about life, and I think about, am I supposed to pick up the phone and call my dad, and even though his phone was burned, or email, am I supposed to send a message for my brother's sister or brother's girlfriend to my brother to tell my dad? They're gonna be like, oh man, she's rude to her dad. She doesn't talk to him. They had a fight about money. All she cared, I know they're gonna say. I was getting in trouble with my housing because of my relatives. I was getting in trouble. They're saying someone else is claiming you as a tax credit unit. We don't necessarily know what that means, but we don't know if you're going to live here. Oh, like I always had these problems. Oh, you're going to school. You can't have full-time students in the home. And, this is a low-income housing. Someone's got to be working or on disability. They try to make up rules, but it's like having my aunt and cousin call the police. It's like when you call the police where we live now, it's not confidential. They're doing a welfare check or whatever. They call us, and they end up. They call us, and they end up, or call the police on us. And in that neighborhood, I called the police once, and they came a month later saying, "Is everything okay?" Because whenever someone in this neighborhood gets the police called on them or calls the police, the manager of the property has to go to a meeting with the police department, who knows who else. I said, "Wow, that's not something I remember signing in my lease." You know what I mean? It's like a crime did not occur. It's not like someone's house got broke into and that the manager is the manager of the house, of the building. I don't own it. It's not like, oh, a crime happened where there was a fight or their car got stolen, or it's not like a drug deal. It's not a crime happened to me or involving me. It's like an inquiry, welfare check, or a troubled child check. You know what I mean? What I called. I was scared myself was running away. So that's where I am right now. I'm gonna actually call my uncle, which I don't want to. I'm gonna try to call my cousin again. So on one hand, I fell asleep crying the other night, and my boyfriend said something about karma, and I was like feeling like it's my fault. I'm a scapegoat. I feel like it's my fault that the house burned down. I feel like if I didn't leave my clutter there, that it wouldn't have burned. I feel like and I cleaned out a lot of clutter of my mom's and of my own. My dad had a dumpster, so I did as much as I can. Especially I had brought my kids in there, and it became, instead of items, it became people need to move and walk around. We don't have room for boxes and stuff. And then hoarding tendencies happened when I had some people clean my house out. In Portland, I was doing okay. At the time, I was doing the Fly Lady. Our political affiliation, I care about people's political affiliation, but there's some ignorance and racism. When there's some severe ignorant behavior and racist and not acknowledging or belittling people of color, then that's when the political affiliation becomes an issue. And it's not even political affiliation. It's like I want to be like, oh, I don't like her political affiliation, so I'm gonna unfriend her. But when you see racist stuff come up, and some people I give the benefit of the doubt if their channel is like, I don't want to talk politics, religion, blah blah blah. Some people I give them, I'm just like, they're trying to keep it neutral, and like Rusty, It's like some things he makes fun of the mask and all that stuff and blah blah blah. It's like you don't know which of these people they're going to say sorry this channel is closed down because the person could die or something. They're going to wear the mask in the store and not going to be defiant, but they still make fun of it. And sometimes it's like, well, you're living out in the country, you're not living in an apartment or a shared housing. You're living out in your own RV. Like it's like you have a different situation than someone in New York City where there's too many people living up under each other and sharing HVACs and beds. And like, well, how is you're sharing an HVAC with a whole bunch of people and one person's sick? It's gonna go through that place. Sharing bathrooms, and so, there's different. People going to work. You're going to work and the people are coughing all over you. And you're making fun of masks. And you're sitting at home in retirement, laying in bed, reading books all day. You're in a different situation than when you got an asthmatic kid at home and a mother or somebody with not cerebral palsy, but cystic fibrosis. You know what I mean? Like you got different people in different risk categories, and you're gonna wear a mask outside to stores. You're an ER doctor and you're working with COVID, hundreds of COVID patients a day. Do you want to tell them, well, you should have to wear a mask in the store or at the park when you're out jogging? You're like, it may or may not work, but you want to treat others like you want to be treated. If someone comes back with Ebola, do you want them spitting and coughing and sneezing and aerosolizing all over you and your food? You know what I mean? Like in Ebola, you're gonna be more scared because it's so called not just a cold. Different story. So one scenario, I felt guilty. I felt like this house was gonna burn down. Um, this guy, I put a curtain up. He's like, you have a less. He gave us less than 24 hours to come look at the ceiling. I thought was gonna collapse in. Um, because so much water is building up and bubbling in the walls and bubbling and molding. And it's like, you have a lot of stuff. You need to get your place insured for $200,000 for his garage. Uh, I don't own the place. You need tenant insurance, buddy. Like, it's not up to code. Electricity is not up to code. We already had a fire. I didn't tell him this. And it's like, basically what we have is a few laundry baskets, a bunch of bottles of water, and then a couple boxes behind me. It looks like hoarders. We have a couple boxes behind me that have food in it, mail order food. We have no cabinets in this location. And we have a few crates because I had mice in here and mice in the garage eating up my toilet paper during March, April of the coronavirus. And I use non-bleached toilet paper. It doesn't give me a rash like regular toilet paper on my bum. So I had some crates here. We don't have a closet, so we have our clothes here. We have a storage unit. My boyfriend had his clothes and stuff there. We were gonna take it and wash it. You spend $80 to wash it. Every season there's mice in there and bugs, and it's not closed off like U-Hauls. I've seen bugs in U-Haul. I think it's because they were dead, probably because they sprayed it. This one is open. Stuff can get under the doors, the garage door, and the doors got dented in, and this part is all open. Like the top of the storage unit is open to it connects to bugs and roaches and rodents can go through everybody's unit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and can carry ticks, like stuff. We found dead mice, turds everywhere. It's just, I mean, you don't want to keep your clothes. You could keep them in a container and try to keep the moisture out. Moisture is not temperature controlled. So we even had the winter and the summer clothes here. He was trying to switch them out. So we had two racks you can get at Target, my clothes and his clothes, including all of our coats. We all have different jobs. We have dirty jobs. We have moderate jobs. We have to dress up jobs or go to church jobs or go to church clothes. We don't have a kitchen, so we had to install our own fridge and freezer. Without good electricity, there's only like 4 outlets, like 4 or 5 outlets. But you have lamps, you have computer, air conditioner, 2 fridges and a freezer. You got little appliances, coffee pot, all that crap. I get scared with the crock pot on. I get scared running this thing. If you turn on the teapot, it trips the circuit breaker. If you have like the dehydrator on and the TV on, when I first came to visit my boyfriend here, the circuit was tripping all the time. So my dad's house burned out. I saw pictures of devastation. My room is gone. My house is gone. Where my kids lived and visited over the years is gone. It's a pile of crap now. It is burnt down. And I'm feeling like if there's a fire before, during, or after that fire, that it's my fault. So I have all this guilt and I have all this hoarding where I can't deal with knowing where these personal items are. And then my boyfriend is like, there's karma, you know that you were abused in that house. That stuff that got burnt, you don't want it anyway if it's gonna smell like burn. But there's the energy, knowing that I was beaten by my mother in the house, that there was other fights with my parents, that there was lies and abuse and manipulation and neglect. And with recently, my dad wouldn't let us eat, so he was causing my kids to almost starve because he wouldn't put food in the house, and when I didn't have money or transportation to get to a store to get food, and we were only allowed to cook water inside the house. And the last time I told you I had those yearbooks, I said I'm never going to see this again. I bet you I'm never going to see these again. If I leave, I told myself after that, I'm going to come visit because I'm going to get some. I didn't have any boyfriend or husband or anything. I didn't really have friends. I knew some people that from medical school that lived around there, and a couple hours from there. I said, let me get a friend to come on a road trip with me, drive the kids across. You know, I had another friend from AA. She wanted to go to West Virginia. So I want to go. I need to go visit where my daughter was born and let her see what it looks like. It's probably built better now as people buy up the cheap land, you know, push gentrification for poor whites instead of city gentrification where blacks own houses and you push them out and raise the cost of living. Like you turn it into a dump, raise the price of taxes, raise the price of gas, everything around this thing that's turned into a gump and a slum and a ghetto. You have families, you have good schools, black or white or whatever, and then you take away the good schools, you raise the taxes on rent, people get pushed out. Now you have people buying it and turning into rooming houses, so then you have crime and stuff, people moving in and out. It's not like, oh, these people lived in this house for 20 years, now they're crack dealers. You got people coming and going, month-to-month lease, prostitution. I mean, like, and the prostitution, I'm not judging prostitution, but there's a lot of crime and drugs and murder and disregard for human life. People killing prostitutes saying their life's not valuable, like their families disown them. What's the point? You know, no one's gonna come looking for them. It's their street people. They're living with the pimp. They, you know, sex trade, foreigners coming here getting sucked in. So when my boyfriend was talking about the karma thing, and my dad was and my mom did this bad stuff to me, nobody acknowledges. Not one person believes that the abuse happened. And there's police records to show the abuse happened. Because they're calling the police on themselves. You know, before they killed somebody. You know what I mean? And that's where I am with that. Is just not wanting to say the earth gobbled up that house because it had a lot of bad juju, or because they came across the saying, "Look how good I am. I'm going to look good and have this nice house and have this nice stuff," but knowing that my daughter is in terror and on medication. I'm a naturopath. I'm doing all these herbs and Melissa Supreme tincture. Or, I don't do tincture, glycerites, and I got a whole thing. I showed you the chamomile tea, and I got the other supplements out my brain, and it's like brain injury and abuse from them led to me marrying an abusive husband and all this stuff. And it's like nobody listens to me. My friends from school don't know anything. I tell them there was abuse in the house. They still don't believe me. They say, "Oh, are you sure?" My friend said, "Are you sure there's abuse? Or is it just yelling?" Because my mom was yelling at me. And I'm just like, yelling can be abuse depending. Like my mom was threatening to kill me, but when you're getting beaten on a daily basis, or you're getting your breasts fondled and touched and then neglected, and not having your kids not being able to be fed, and you're having your bank accounts in your name and taxes done in your name without your permission, you know what I'm saying? Forging signatures and messing up my life, messing up stuff that's associated with my social security number while I was trying to get out of housing programs and off of welfare, and having this stuff going on my social security number, and me trying to figure out how to answer questions for myself, and so I'm not being fraudulent and somebody put money in an account that they created. It's just And then me saying I need to be independent and do my taxes, I paying student interest, I'm paying childcare, I can get, money back, more money, even if it's only extra 1,200. If you're working and you got childcare, I don't know if it's itemized, certain dependent credits and stuff you could get. It's like you're missing out. Even if my dad was giving me money, I was paying childcare with that money. I was paying rent, childcare. I buy like $20 worth of easy food when I got money, but I was like, I could have helped him to get a better tax break if he was using this for a tax break. I could have helped. I could have said add the extra, couple hundred, a few $100s a month to child care costs, dependent care costs. Come on, like if you're gonna be doing this stuff, then you need to do it as a team, as a partner, not behind someone's back, sneaking around. So it was since 2016, only 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, I stopped talking to my dad, and the guilt and shame dumped all over me. And so I always thought, what if something happened? What if you saw a narcissist? What they get in the hospital and they say, you better come visit me now. Like you go no contact. You better come visit me. I'm dying. How dare you? They get there and then they get, I call it a bear trap. You get in a bear trap. And you knew the sign said private property, no trespassing, traps, abundant traps placed everywhere, hidden. You will be trapped. 99% chance of getting. So you go back into a drama or a thing, and you get back into that abusive relationship. It's until the person acknowledges it and says, oh my God, I can't believe that I was abusive. And I have a friend who, after 4 years of being abusive at medical school, said, oh my God, I was really mean to you. I realized that I was, and I never did the thing is, I've been over backwards for people, put myself in danger, given this person rise, this and this and this. So it's like, you end up like, you end up um, falling back into wanting to give and wanting to take care of everyone and wanting to allow them to use me as a punching bag. If I pick up the phone or the email and call my dad right now, I'll be back. It's like addiction. I've done this low contact, no contact, rekindle the relationship. It's like when you get off of a drug, say meth or alcohol. You went from here, your life here, oh, I was a cheerleader, oh, I was an athlete, oh, I got good grades, and then I got on drugs and alcohol, and then you downward spiral, and then you quit, and you start to build your life up again, and then boom, you relapse, and you go back to where you were, and you downward spiral faster. In 2 weeks, now you're injecting heroin, and you're pimping out your body, you know what I'm saying? And that happens with abusers. I've done that with my mom, with my dad, with my ex-husband, with this young lady at school, with jobs. Jobs have been abusive. I mean, I finally had to say I'm gonna end up living in my car with no money, no food in Walmart because the job was so abusive, and I was getting even physically and mentally and financially abused at this job. They refused to give me my paychecks. There was just it was. So sometimes it's like you gotta flee for your life. I've done that so many times. So those belongings. Imagine going to a house. I would burst into tears to see our house, our family house, burned down. I call it my son's house. He was born there. Burned down. I saw the Oregon wildfires. People come back. Wildfires. There's ash. There's maybe part of an oven door. Like there's literally ash. Like you might not even see the springs, the bed springs, if they have springs in an old chair or bed. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if I go there, if I were to get on a plane, the last when I found out, they waited what 3-4 days to tell me. I'll get on a plane and go there. I would burst into tears, say my house burned down. Was this a mistake? Did you do it on purpose? Like you don't think anyone would do that on purpose, but you don't know with the heating, the chimneys, the different things with the mice. You don't know. He's not one that I know to burn candles or incense, or he doesn't cook food, so there's not going to be any oven left out. His oven, I don't even think worked. Ovens didn't work. His stove, one burner worked. One of them let you touch the thing and it shocks you. It was like, it didn't work. I mean, and that's something. The house wasn't being maintained. There's an Arthur episode where they went to Grandpa's house and it wasn't maintained. This is a lot longer video than I thought. Last time I looked at time, it was 54 minutes. I thought, oh my God, this is way too long. I feel guilty thinking about karma. That's what my tattoo is. What goes around comes around, and then the sun in the middle, and then the purple. Everyone's part of royalty. Don't let people talk down to you, because somewhere in your history, you most likely have been related or part of a royal family in some culture somewhere. If it's Africa, Asia, Europe, you know, even indigenous North Americans and different people, different things, Incas. And if we come from Adam and Eve, and we're all related anyway, whether we're all different names and different eye shapes, skin colors, and hair color. So I had to think of that Al-Anon, which I shared yesterday. So I'm really glad this person said, yeah, you thought about the program and you're trying to scramble and figure it out. I also had to say, when you looked at those yearbooks and those letters and you put them back in the drawer and on the shelf in those 2 bedrooms, you said you'll probably never see this stuff again. Did you think the house was going to burn down? No. It's devastating. A house you had up for over 40 years is now ashes and trash. Burn. Burn is destroyed. Flood. People's houses get flooded and tornadoes. They get ruined. The burn is like, it's burnt, it's gone. It's got to take a truck and plow over that, or dump, or a plow, or whatever. You got to push that stuff and load up a bunch of dumpsters. I mean, they probably won't even pick through my room. They'll probably just say this stuff is going in the trash. That could be gold bars in there, for all I know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with my mom. You don't want looters. But, seriously. Nobody's calling me to ask me if I know about the house. I keep trying to hint to people, tell people, if you want to know about certain stuff in that house, I can tell you about a lot of stuff in that house. I can tell you a lot of stuff in that house. I'm a woman too, so I pay attention to decor. And she taught me about antiques and different types of old money and different things of people of color. I had like a little drum too that would have been ruined. But I can imagine being in a house where you're sad because you're alone because your wife died, but knowing that you're abusive. Because the truth is coming out right now. I don't think anyone's going to watch my video. So that's when the karma thing happens. It's like, I feel guilty because somebody hurt me, and if karma's on them, somebody hurt me, I feel responsible. I feel like my place is going to burn down, or my kids are going to die in a fire, or that my boyfriend is going to die in a car accident because I have been beat on, and that I feel like I'm the one that's attracting this energy because I have been growing up to be told that I was the reason that everything went wrong. So I took responsibility for this fire. I was thinking I couldn't sleep. I was worried. I was thinking it's my fault, that I should have done something different. And that if this place and every other place that we're renting burns down, that it's going to be my fault too, because I don't know how to get out of bed and clean up. And that I'm home from quarantine from work, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing billing for my clinic. I'm doing stuff, but right now I'm making a video. I'm not cleaning up. I'm not doing laundry, which I'm going to go start and get on the phone with my buddy before my boyfriend has to sit and listen to me whine about this stuff. And I feel guilty of someone's karma. Biblically speaking, you're not supposed to do revenge. Someone harms you, Jesus said, turn the other cheek and let them, slap that cheek. It gets to a point where they could just slap you dead and your kids and be raping and pillaging, It's like sometimes you gotta take that with a grain of salt, right? If they steal your coat, then you take off your shirt and let them have it too, as the Bible's saying. It's like, what does the original text say, It's not saying do you have revenge, or what my boyfriend's trying to say is we got karma. I feel like bad stuff happens to me and my kids, our situation and our severe poverty and lack of job, and that stuff feels like I'm being punished for crap that I did. What did I do the whole time I was growing up besides be a scapegoat? I was beaten. I was sexually assaulted by multiple people. before and after age 18. Nobody got reported. No samples of DNA got taken. I used drugs and alcohol because I had been suicidal as a child. So I was unsuccessful. I used drugs and alcohol to escape the pain, just to maintain. You can, if I had ADHD, other mind issues, I could use uppers to try to get some brain. If I needed to study, stay up all night, take caffeine, so that I can study and get out of abusive house. I'm using this stuff not just, oh, I'm trying to do something for myself. I'm trying to go to medical school so to take caffeine pills so I could stay up and study. No, I was trying to stay up and study so I can go to school so I can get away from abuse to save my life. It wasn't just like I want to be successful in life. It's like I was trying to instinctually live, even though I already had instinctually wanted to die. I had written notes in that and left in that house saying that the way that I was being treated as a young child, I didn't deserve to live, and that I don't deserve to share the oxygen. That my parents deserve the oxygen. I deserve to die just to let the rest of the world have the the things, whatever the requirements that you need to live. That I couldn't even share the breath that the trees give off. You know what I'm saying? That the plant. What happens if we cut down all our trees? By the way, we're all would be. Did you ask your jurors? It'll be like, oh, that movie where in Mars, where they shut down the oxygen, and people start choking and dying. Anyways, I don't want to think that the karma is my fault because people say it's your fault. They don't believe that I was abused. People say that it's my fault that I was abused or that racist people attack me, that it's my fault that I'm hurt. So if you come and punch me, people say that it's my fault that you punched me. That I'm walking down the street, see a penny on the floor, looking down, not even looking up, not bumping into any money, minding my business. Ooh, it's my lucky day. Punch right in the jaw, bust out my teeth. Go tell the police. They say it's your fault, Mia. Why? Because you were there. If you weren't there, you wouldn't have got hurt. But somebody else decided to inflict harm on me. They made a conscious decision. They didn't bump into me. They didn't accidentally hit me in their car because I was wearing all dark at night in a snowstorm or in a rainstorm in the street. You know, they didn't. They didn't say, "Oh, this lady called me a B word and I'm gonna punch her because she instigated." It's like I'm minding my own business. I'm in my own space. People will always blame me. So I feel this guilt and karma if someone hurt me and if they went to jail because I reported them, I feel guilty. So I want to bend over backwards, get on a plane, go to the house, oh crap, oh I'm so sorry I didn't talk to you. Sorry I didn't talk to you. You didn't talk to him because you told him and your aunt that you were setting boundaries and they were breaking the boundaries. And you were waiting for an apology. Because you were trying to apologize for them hurting me. You were trying to say, if you're not gonna apologize and you're an adult, then you need to acknowledge that you hurt us. You need to acknowledge that what you did was not right. Because I cannot be around you if you don't recognize right from wrong. But to think about the pictures my brother put with it, walls burnt down in the ceiling, looking right up to the sky. Me watching to just a minute, I was like, imagine walking up to that place right now with ashes and dust. Everything melted and burnt and destroyed, and water damage, and all the pictures destroyed. The pictures of my kids that I don't have copies of, that only my dad has printed on. It's not even like framed in a regular picture. It's just even the cheap pictures you get are laminated and it's not waterproof. The cheap pictures you get from the drugstores. All that stuff I lost. And I said, it's in my dad's house for safekeeping. It's like God be in charge. Fire sale. I used to have fire sale. I tried to my mom's cousin. Her house burned down 4 times when she was a kid. They didn't have any pictures, no belongings. But she was really clean, really happy, really healthy. Maybe she was able to let go, not just keep hoarding. Even if you have gold and valuables and coats and weapons and artwork and antiques, you only have so much space in your house. You need to have 3 pieces of stuff that you like, but that you're not so attached to. You know, you got a kid in college and you got grandpa's table, great grandpa's table, and it's all beat up like this one. My boyfriend and I got an argument. Let the college kid have it. Maybe their kids might, light candles and get wax and burn holes and stuff, and you're gonna be mad when you see it. But at least they're using it, and they didn't have to go buy some particle board thing somewhere. You can clean that up and let some baby use it as an art table. You know what I'm saying? Or you could clean it up and sell it to an art dealer or antique dealer, and someone can put it in their home, restore it, and put it into a home, and that could be the entranceway table that has a base on and flower. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about recycling, but I need to like let go of the fact that, oh, this has been in our family for 40 years, 100 years, 200 years, and to be able to let that go, just like the receipts that my boyfriend brings home from the store yesterday. I'm stashing all that crap in my dresser drawers and stuff, and in my coat pockets. Oh, the receipt from the store. It's like, put the crap in your calendar. You got gas. Who cares? You got gas. You know what the gas mileage is. It doesn't change. The car fills up with crap. You drive in the city, your gas mileage goes down. You get on the freeway, you do 55, your gas mileage goes up. Period. Like, you know what I mean? You go uphill the whole time, your gas mileage goes down. So I gotta let this piece of paper, this cardboard boxes, the clothes that don't fit, I just gotta sell this stuff on eBay. I gotta do a fire sale. I gotta do energy. You take a bunch of boxes. You're not selling all this breakable stuff with all this bubble wrap you thought you needed and all this stuff. So, but that karma, when my boyfriend said, and I feel like God was trying to tap on my shoulder at the same time. He said to all the people that done me wrong, if I went back and hurt them or got revenge, then if we did that, we would be bad guys. We would be horrible bad guys. He said, let karma, he said, let God, let the universe deal with the stuff that people are getting away with. And there is probably stuff that I've done that I wish I hadn't done. And that could be why I'm struggling with. But a lot of times people can be laughing and joyful and spiteful and trying to be, I'm gonna mess up this person. I'm gonna get into their bank account and steal all their money. And I've had it done to me. And they're planning. It's not an accident. It's not a mistake. Like, oops, I used the wrong bank account number, kids. Oh, I paid the bill with your account instead of mine. Sorry. You know, it's not a mistake. It's like the devious, and it gets addictive. Another thing like drugs. So I have to realize that people are alive, and that we're in a pandemic, and that we're living through that. Whether or not we talk, I had to let go and let God. And so thinking of Al-Anon thing, I just had to let go and let God and realize that I took myself out of the picture after my relatives refused to follow my boundaries. I took myself out of the picture in 2016. And I said, just for today, God's going to tell me whether to talk to these people or not. And tomorrow will be a different question, a different answer. Same question, different answer, or same answer. It's a different day, a different 24 hours. And I had to just let go and let God with that. Because I have a real hard time, even with this job at the post office, I have a real hard time dealing with working 6 days a week from 8 to 12 hours a day. I have a real hard time with that. Partly just because of the fact that um, I'm feeling like I can bend over and take it when I don't want to. Like, it's like people that don't have education, they work there, they're happy with their payment. They don't have kids, or they have someone else taking care of their kids, and they just get up, go to work, sleep all day, get up, go to work, get a paycheck, and do something on their day off, buy some food, or don't live with their parents. A lot of people I know that work full time live with their parents, so they just got to take a shower or sleep and put some clothes and makeup on, get their hair done. A lot of people I know working full time are not, they're not having homes and businesses and fees and uneducated. Some of them are getting education. I had to realize it's hard for me to get slave wages and know that I'm a professional. But it's hard for me to know that I'm professional that people aren't interested in hiring. And people don't take me seriously. And people say, oh, good job. I'm glad you're working entry-level jobs that pay minimum wage. So I had to think about my own karma and my own motivation and my own intention. And before I found out about the fire, I told myself, you gotta take care of you. You were bending over back to take care of your dad, calling him, making sure he's okay, making sure he got presents. You didn't know if he got Christmas presents and all this stuff. So you gotta take care of you. That's one thing I can't remember. I remember some of the gifts that we gave him. But you gotta take care of you. You gotta take care of um, your health. I had said last week, keep it simple. I didn't even make a statement for this week. Keep it simple. Keep it super simple. Not keep it simple stupid. I don't like that one. Keep it super simple. I was going to explain it. If these are strangers, I have to be careful who I reveal. It's like in a meeting. Some things you want to share openly, but some things you want to pull someone aside and say, I trust you, or I don't trust you, but I don't want the whole world to need to start blabbing that lady such and such, because they don't keep it anonymous. They don't keep it in the room. That's the problem. You could be ashamed of yourself or not, but you don't need someone reporting that to your family member or boss, inappropriately, not knowing the rules of the game. Keep it super simple. I was feeling like I'm too old, with my health and all this. I don't have the energy or the health to keep trying to maintain other people's energy and health. I don't have the bank account to do it. And by the grace of God, I've been able to keep it up this amount of my life. And I'm like saying, when you go back to the other job, you're not going to be able to do charting. You're not going to do billing. You're not going to be able to do eBay. You're going to be working the 15 hours a day. This job is supposed to be laying me off. So what am I going to do then? I'm supposed to be laid off in a few days. But it may or may not happen because COVID's got the post office. COVID's got people doing packages. I've been doing the packages. So I have to say, you might, if they offer you a job, you don't want to turn it down because you don't have any other income. It's not like, oh, I'm working 20 hours a week in my clinic and I just needed to, pay off this debt, work a pizza job or work an entry level job for a few weeks. No, I don't have any other income. My unemployment, because of these jobs, I earned over $300 one week. My unemployment got cut off. So I can't even claim. Now my income is zero and my case is closed. So I won't get money this last week because my case is closed. Because I had these temporary jobs, multiple temporary jobs that put me over the edge, like for 1 or 2 weeks out of the course of 9 months. The rest of the time I had $0 to $300 income with temporary jobs. It's not like, oh, you have a regular job, it's 20 hours a week ongoing. You're going to be there until you get quit or get fired. So it's been really hard, and I feel like the karma is making me have a difficult life because of my behavior when I was on drugs. And the only reason I was on drugs, alcohol, and promiscuous because of the abuse that was taking place at home and my family house that burned down. My boyfriend says, let that energy of that stuff be gone. You don't want that. You don't want the energy of that stuff. And I have that same energy inside the house in Portland. I had to get rid of the stuff from these toxic people. Because it was just stuff, but I could feel the energy of it. So I feel like if I feel guilty and I feel like it's my fault that something happened because I was trained to be a scapegoat and to accept responsibility for other people's behavior or other people's misfortune, it's not like they're going to praise me if something good happens and it was actually the reason that it happened was because of me or save someone's life or because of CPR or something. They don't pat you on the back when you do something right. It's like something goes wrong, whether you did it or not, they blame you and they don't forgive and they don't go back and say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, that wasn't your fault. So what my problem is, I accept the energy of negativity from the earth. Negative test results, that's fine, but negativity as far as trying to attract chaos and poverty and sickness and sadness, I feel like I'm deserving of that because that's how I was born into that family where you're the youngest, you're being the one that's being blamed for everything. We're jealous of you because you're smart, because you're cute, and all this stuff. So I had to change that energy, and that's what this fire, the phoenix, rise up from the flames. I had to think of this fire as, yes, clean up this clutter that's over here. I got boxes everywhere. I got boxes on the floor. And we didn't have this many boxes until they stopped picking up recycling here. So it's Wednesday, I'm just going to take a trash bag and put this stuff in the trash. I'm not even going to try to put it in the car. It's going to be, sometimes you just have to do, same as the clothes that I have up for sale. Sometimes you have to not put them up for sale and just taking it to Goodwill. Just drop them off in a bag, donate the food that you don't eat back to the food pantry. You know what I mean? Just to keep sanity. And people say, yeah, you should have a clean house. Like, the problem is we use a lot of this stuff. Like, I'm digging through this bag. It's the food I just ordered. It was in 3 boxes. I consolidate to 1. So some of this stuff is little coolers. Some of it's mail order food. There's nowhere to put it. I fill up crates. I got another crate for eBay. It smells like ash and plastic, like cigarette smoke and plastic. So I'm not going to put, especially clothes in there. I'm not going to put any. I put shipping supplies in. That was a mistake. So that's full of paper clutter that was next to the heater that I moved. So that's the energy of it. I'm going to call my friend and make some tea and then start some laundry.